country. Now, I'm comparing these teams because this was the last national championship team, and this is the team that we were on, so we have a very clear picture of what happened and how it happened, and the atmosphere and the mindset and what was going on internally that year, right? We started that season, 2009, number 1 team in the country. We fluctuated. We weren't like LSU this year where we were number 1 the entire year, but we fluctuated between 1 and 5, I think, and then we were always in that top 5. We had not lost an SEC series all year in 2009. We hadn't lost 2 games in a row all year in 2009. Tennessee, who at the time I think was the worst team in the SEC, maybe second worst team in the SEC, came to LSU, came to Baton Rouge the 4th to last weekend of the SEC, of the season. So we had 12 games left. Tennessee comes to LSU. We beat them, I'm looking at the numbers, on Friday.
Can you, before you even finish that, can you just speak about the game before too? Because that was I'm pretty sure that was our first 2 losses we had back to back all year. We lost the midweek game before too.
We did. So we had we did not.
Before that series.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Before the series. Yeah, we did.
So
that's what I'm saying.
We lost to Nicholls State on Wednesday that year 3-1. Okay?
Came out Friday
night against Tennessee at home. Beat them 18-3.
Boat race, football score.
Wasn't even close. Like it was, this team is comically bad.
2 possession ball game.
Yeah. Like kneeling the ball at the end of the game, bad. Like on the 25-yard line, like we just don't want to get in the game. It's over. The next day, I'm lost. The next day, Tennessee beats us at home 7-5. Go on Sunday. Now you've gotten through both our aces. You've gotten through Coleman on Friday, who we dominated, and you got through Renato on Saturday. Now you go Sunday, and Austin Ross was very capable pitcher. He's a 3rd rounder. He was good. He was our 3rd starter that year. Tennessee beats us in Game 3, back-to-back games, April 19th, 2009, 9-4 on Sunday. They took the series. Now, it was equally as disgusting, if you're watching as a fan, as this game was, just in a different way. LSU couldn't get out of the first inning because they walked so many guys. Pitching wasn't good. We lost this game because you know how many errors? Guess how many errors we made that game?
4.
6 errors. We made 6 errors as a team that game. Lost the game. Lost the series. Lost 2 in a row. That's when all the moves shaped out. Defensively. Offensively. That's when LeMahieu goes from short to second. That's when Austin goes from the bench to short. That's when J-Mitch goes from left to right. That's where I go from right to center.
Ryan Schimpf goes from second to left. Leon goes from
center to the bench.
From center to the bench, yep.
And you say, okay, Sean, you're going to play first base or DH.
Mm-hmm. First base mostly.
Mostly first base.
Blake was DH.
Yeah, and then you're going to catch sometimes. Mm-hmm. And when you're catching Ryan Schimpf, you're going to come to first base.
Yep.
And then we're going to put somebody else out in the outfield.
Yep.
Right? From that moment, after those adjustments happened, now the adjustments that are about to happen, I would imagine that Jay's thinking about aren't going to be on the defensive side of the ball, aren't going to be in the lineup. But it's the same concept. After that happened, what do you think our record? Well, you know what our record was. I told you. From that point, from losing that game, we went 27-4 until we lost that second game of Omaha. So we went 28-5.
2 games in the regular season and 2 games in the postseason. Because first game of the SEC tournament, second game in Omaha.
Yep.
Or second game of the championship series in Omaha.
We had 3 more series left after that. We went 9-2. No, we went 3 more. 7-2 in the SEC play.
Yeah.
Right? And then we lost that first game in the tournament. But 27-4 up until we lost that Texas game. So.
And 3 until we lost the Texas game. 4 was the Texas.
Yeah, 4 was the Texas game. Yeah. Right? And so
30 games, 27 wins.
Yes.
And then we lost that.
And then we lost the game and then we won the next one. Right? So my whole point in saying this has happened before. Just because they lose this game and they lose it in an lose the series and they lose it in an ugly fashion does not mean the team isn't good or the team isn't what you thought they were. There are some issues for sure, like no doubt about it. The bullpen has got to throw more strikes. They've got to pitch better. You can't just rely on Paul Skeens. You have other guys to pick up. They need to pick themselves up and they need to pick up the team, right? The offense can't leave that many guys on base. The offense got to drive guys in. If you're not going to be able to pitch in a certain game, they're going to have to pick them up, and they've done that all year.
And I'll go back to it again because people are like, oh, that's just kind of a coincidence. That's not really a thing. But if you go back to that same series, through that Tennessee series, I don't even know if you know this, Lloyd, through that Tennessee series, at that point in the year, we hadn't turned a single 6-4-3 double play the entire year. 9 games left in the SEC schedule. Not one 6-4-3 double play all year.
Which seems impossible.
So, exactly. So, my point is you're like, oh, they've been bad. They don't pitch well. Oh, well, they've been not great on defense. They don't turn double plays. Boom, there you go.
How many did y'all have after Nola goes in?
That I don't know.
But they happened. More than one.
So, like this, it's easy to jump on the just wear them out train. I get it, man. The people that have been on this have literally been jumping on this and saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I guess, the straw that broke the camel's back. Now you're like, hey, I told you so. I was right. I don't think you're that right as you think you are.
I made a mistake on my numbers that I gave, my facts. I'll fact check myself. We made 5 errors on Saturday, not Sunday, but point's still the same.
5 errors on Saturday?
Yeah, so
That's even worse.
We lost the second game with one of our better pitchers on the mound.
Because we made 5 errors.
5 errors.
And then we got beat on Sunday.
And then we got beat on Sunday.
13 left on base on Saturday. 5 errors, 5 walks, and you still lost by 2.
Right. And so my point to this whole thing.
Both teams. 7-5.
Yep.
8-6.
Yep.
8-6. You left 14 runners on base. 7-5 in 2009. You made 5 errors. And you lost by 2.
That game.
I probably made one if that was the case.
It was a line drive right at me.
If we made 5, I was probably somewhere there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, but got lost. I mean.
No, it didn't get lost anywhere. I just missed it. I mean, there's no. I'm not. I mean, no, I would never make it. I had missed that one. But
the ones right at you are the hardest. That's
but yeah, so after that, the next weekend series we played was Auburn at home. We swept them, right? And then we ended up winning the next 2 series. And
Chad swept them.
Chad swept them. We ended up getting to where we needed to be. So the whole point in giving you that example and the whole point of bringing that up is, yeah, of course there's issues with this team. It's the end of the season. There's always going to be issues. The team's not going to be playing their best baseball from game 1 to game 56 in the regular season and through the playoffs. That's not the way it works. I want to see this. Like, I want to see them go through some bumps and bruises right now and allow them to figure it out and show how are you going to figure it out when you still have time to figure it out. If this happens in the Super Regional, you don't have time to figure it out. So now you've seen it. You've gotten a taste of what it looks like to lose a series when you're supposed to win it. How are you going to respond to it? And I would imagine that they're going to respond to this in the way that I expect them to, and that's going to be going out there and they're going to take care of business against Mississippi State, who's struggling. They're going to go take care of business against Northwestern State, and they're going to go take care of business against Georgia, who's playing very good baseball. Mm-hmm. They are playing very good baseball. You have to go to Athens. That's going to be a tough series. It's not going to be a gimme. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. You're looking forward to the SEC tournament. Like, that is going to be a big series. Arkansas overtook LSU in the West standings. Like, this is important stretch for LSU. But it's not something you should be concerned. I don't want to say concerned. It's not something you should panic about. This is part of it. Listen, this has been brewing for a little bit. LSU has put themselves in some holes. They haven't played perfect. They've gotten themselves out of it because of playing team baseball. Pitching's not very well. Offense is going to pick it up, and that's been the majority of the things. This time it didn't happen. That's a lot of pressure to ask for the offense to continue to do that.
Yeah, I hate to sound like the optimist, but like it's like one of those things that it just so happened to basically happen at the perfect time for them, right? It's almost seemed like they've been on cruise control the last couple weeks, maybe even like the last month, right? Where you haven't been as sharp on the mound. The offense that has been nails all year has been able to bail you out even more. And now it's like, hey, now this is real. Let's lock it really lock it back in. And like you said, you're going to have to end the season against a team that's been playing really good baseball. You have to you're going to have another team that always comes here and pretty much plays you well. Mississippi State that plays you well. That was supposed to be a good team this year. That's how you're going to end the last 2 weekends here to go into, in my opinion, probably the toughest tournament there is in the country. Absolutely. Right? So it is now time for you to start buckling down. It is now time for you to actually lock it back in. Like we said, the pitching's been what it is, but I also think, like when we talk about that Saturday game, right? If you want to win in the SEC tournament, if you want to win in Omaha, the ways of doing it is we can't leave 14 runners on base. I get it. They haven't really done that all year. But something like this past weekend brings light to all of those things, and it allows a coach to be able to use it as coaching points. Whereas you may not have gotten the same ears to it a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, right? There's no denying it now.
Right.
And because the results have showed you that. So not to sound like an optimist, but this may not have come at a better time.
I agree.
Right? You get 2 tune-up weeks in a way, right, before you get to the postseason, and this is good for them. I think this is something that they needed, and we'll see how they respond to it. I expect positivity. Like, I expect them to actually be able to bounce back in a big way.